Hi guys, this is Just with your all signs, Jupiter and Pisces. How will that transit affect each sign? We're going to look at your sign and see what blessing will come to you during the Jupiter and Pisces, as we know, and some of you need to look into Jupiter and Pisces, which is happening at the end of this year. Jupiter and Pisces bring a lot of blessings. And it's almost like you can think it and it comes to you and it can happen. It is an automatic manifestation energy. And you will notice next year that there's going to be a lot of artists, singers, anyone that works in the arts. There's going to be a lot of focus and blessings coming their way. So I thought it would be interesting to look at each sign and find out what will be your blessing, but also what you may do too much of, because as we know, Pisces do not have boundaries, and when Jupiter is there, it can expand. Lack of boundaries and doing too much of something, which may cost you. So without further ado, let's get straight into Aries. Aries, well, as we can see, you will be blessed by making some type of decision that will surprise you of the events. Now, I do see that this can yield favorable results with money making ideas, partnering with someone, deciding to relocate. Whatever this decision will be can bring you finances, increase finances, but it also can bring you permanent long-term love. I do see that as well. So it looks like Aries will have a decision to make that will be quite the blessing. Now let's look at what possibly you need to avoid during the Jupiter and Pisces transit. Well, it looks like you're going to need to avoid holding on to things a little too much. And perhaps for some of you Aries, you can start on this side of things, because as we noticed, there's been some heartbreak and pain and kind of holding on to things that may have been going on for quite some years now, Aries. And also be careful with being a little too tight with your money, being a little bit too fixed, and not kind of being malleable and changeable and kind of going with the flow. Doing too much of a closed fist or stubbornness or holding back or being affixed to something, not being able to let go, and doing too much of that could cost you. So do be careful and kind of open up just a bit, let go of anything that is no longer serving you so that you can receive when all of these blessings start coming your way. When you have to make that major decision, understand that things will come your way and things will work out, but it's just going to take time, and to leave any unnecessary energy, leave it back here in 2021 and move forward next year with your arms wide open, obviously using discernment, but do expect things to kind of come your way once you make your final decision. So now on to Taurus. Well, Taurus, it looks like some of you will be starting anew, and your blessing is going to be a new job, possible engagement, but definitely sparks of genius ideas. Next year would be a great time for you to get a planner, a journal, a recorder, something that you're going to need to carry with you, because you will find that you'll get sparks of genius out of nowhere. You will have Jupiter in your 11th house, and so that's going to speak to a lot of blessings. The internet, you may be on fire when it comes to the internet. It's almost like you can't do no wrong. But I do see opportunities that you may have been waiting for. The efforts that you put in now, you'll see major results coming to you and benefits that will follow in Jupiter transiting Pisces next year. And so definitely focus on your goals and aspirations, because you will be quite fascinated and surprised at how much of a blessing they will be for you next year. And it almost seems like you can't believe the level of blessings that you'll get financially. You may have your eyes specifically focused on something, and that's anything. You're going to have your eyes sharp on something. Something will be a major value. And of course, you'll have North Node of your sign, so it'll be all about Taurus. You kind of can't lose here next year, so make it count, Taurus. I kind of want to just make a video for Taurus to let you guys know Next year is your time. You have Jupiter sextiling you, North Node working in your favor. Yes, Saturn is going to be a little agitated, but that's just going to force you to kind of switch some things up and make some changes. That's going to stick long term. It just will be a little bit agitating to get it all done. But I see major blessings coming your way, Taurus, and especially money increasing for you guys. So that's a good thing. Now let's look at what you need to avoid or probably try not to do too much of during the Jupiter and Pisces transit. Well, it looks like you need to kind of let go and let God. This would be a good time now for you to forgive those who have done wrong against you and to move forward in your life and to ask forgiveness and to just move forward. Whether you don't have to speak to them, you don't have to try to make amends, you don't have to make a case, just move forward. It's easier for me to say. I'm sure it'll be more difficult for you guys to do because next year you'll find it challenging that someone may, and it may even have happened now, that you may feel like you need to express yourself, get some things out. So next year would be, you have to kind of rein in your personal feelings and how you communicate, particularly online, but to anyone. This is kind of like chatty, gossipy, stalking, watching people, but also not being able to let go of a situation, who's done you wrong. You need to express that. And it will fall short on people. They won't necessarily back you up. They may just feel like, oh my goodness, you still talking about this. So it's not going to be so effective. So do be careful of how you're communicating and if it's even necessary to communicate certain things. Is it necessary to research this, look into this, watch this person, stalk this person? It's kind of like, move forward and be in search of things that is going to add to you and not take away from you. And I kind of don't have to tell Taurus that, but someone may bring that out of you next year and it can get out of hand. So just be careful with that. So that's what I have for Taurus. Now let's look at Gemini. Well, Jupiter, Gemini, it looks like you guys will have a pleasant year next year. Now, this is not a yearly, but Jupiter and Pisces will bring you ultimate happiness and contentment in some area of your life, particularly when it comes to home, family, and a particular love in your life. For some of you, next year could be the year that you fall in love and you experience an ultimate love with someone. If you've been in strife with a partner or anyone in your life, next year would be a good time to make amends and experience a happiness and a connection that you probably have never felt with this person before, whether they're familiar or completely new. So next year does bring happiness, full contentment, and an opportunity to overcome strife and strain in existing relationships. Now let's look at what you need to avoid doing too much of so that it doesn't work against you. Well, Gemini, looks like you also need to kind of open up a little bit more, like Aries. You need to be willing to be a little bit flexible and make sure that you're not holding back too much. You're not holding on to things. This time right now would be a good time to let go of things that you cannot control. I think we talked about that to some extent in this last All Signs video, and that to embrace new things. I see possibly moving. Some of you, if you're feeling very stubborn about not wanting to move, make any changes because changes are afoot. It's coming for you. And if it requires you to have to make some type of move that you're just like, I don't want to do it. Well, then you know what? You're going to hold yourself back from a lot of blessings, and you may even, avoid being able to reach this pinnacle of happiness. So moving past something, letting it go, and not feeling like you have to get somebody back, not feeling like you have to come up with an idea to get vengeance. Let it go and move on. And just like I was telling, I think I said to Taurus just now, make sure that you just put things in good standing and move forward, and you will be blessed with ultimate happiness. So that's what I see for Gemini. Now let's look at Cancer. Well, Cancer, you will have the opportunity to find love or love again. You will find that if you had any fallout with someone, and this could be anyone in your life, that it'll be easier and forgiveness will happen far quicker next year. Now, this is an opportunity to love like you've not loved in a long time, to be forgiven when you probably felt like there was no way you would ever forgive and forget. You've ever moved past a situation, and you may feel like you will be out here for a long time just trying to make things, just trying to get through life, right? And some of you may have been a little bit jaded and resentful of life. Well, next year shows, for some of you at least, that this is going to be a time where you're going to feel like you're being supported, you're being cared for and nurtured by others. People are giving you a helping hand. There's people around you that perhaps there was a fallout and fight, but now you can come to an amicable agreement to kind of settle things, but in a loving way that is genuine from you to them. Great time to fall in love. New love will be coming to you guys this particular year coming up. So do enjoy all the goodness that will be coming your way with this Jupiter in Pisces. Now let's look at what you need to kind of avoid doing too much of so that it doesn't work against you. Well, you see the card. And some people may interpret this as, well, how can, your wishes come in true? How's that? You need to avoid doing that. Well, I see this as being greedy. Do be careful of being greedy. Do be careful if someone has done you wrong and they're trying to make amends, that you make them suffer in order for you to get everything you need to get out of a person. Do be careful with that because it's going to go against you. Also, your body, mind, and your spirit is a temple, and you need to treat it that way. So next year, you may find yourself in circumstances where you want to party, you want to have a good time, you want to drink, you want to indulge. Be careful with that because it can get out of hand for you Cancers. Remember I said that. So be careful with overindulging and doing too much, all right? But it almost seems like you kind of can't lose here. Next year may be a very good year for you Cancers out there with the cards that I see thus far. But just be careful not to use anyone. It'll be easy to do that with Jupiter and Pisces. So do be careful not to use people and not to overdo things because it can get out of hand. Now let's look at Leo. Well, Leo, it looks like there is a new horizon coming for you. Kind of like Cancer, you guys will have this new beginning. For some of you, it will be after walking away from a situation that did not serve you, and you're just going to take a leap. It could be you jump into a new relationship, you get married off of a whim, you move to be next to someone, you take on a job, and your life kind of changes overnight, it almost may seem. But next year will be the time of blessing, of new beginnings, to be able to invest in something, someone investing in you. Some of you may start your first business for the first time, but I do see gaining another stream or a stream of income or investing in something that could be long term, and it's going to be very beneficial for you guys next year. Now let's look at what you need to avoid doing too much of. Well, this looks to me for you Leos out there that you need to kind of take next year in stride. Try not to do too much, okay? You may want to do everything all next year, right? Go everywhere. Be careful about flying or going to too many foreign places. Do be careful with that. But also, it's a process to get wherever you're trying to go. And some of you may be itching to get there all in a day, all in a month, a week, all in 2022. Do be careful with knowing that it's better for you to pace yourself and take it as time goes on, because you don't want things to, you don't want to do too much and then things start to go out of whack. And do be careful that you do too much for family, people that are very significant for you. You just may be doing a little too much for them, and then you might regret it down the line. So again, take your time, pace yourself, try not to do too much. And I do feel like you just need to be a little practical about everything that's happening so that you don't become disappointed, because there's huge ups and there can be a down at some point if you become a little too unrealistic about the possibilities. And everybody is going to be in this more unrealistic place with Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces next year. So I would say stay grounded, which you'll have an opportunity with that Ace of Pentacles, but also be slow and steady throughout your year and take your blessings as they come, and just enjoy it as they come, and don't expect too much as they come, and that way you'll get a lot more than what you're anticipating. So that's what I see with Leo. Let's look at Virgo. Well, Virgo, some of you are going to be moving. I see a new house, buying a house, relocating, getting married, becoming committed, going to the next level with someone, getting official, um, partnering up with people. And this could be sponsorships, partnerships of some sort. So there is a coming together. Some of you may find yourself celebrating, spending a lot of time at home, focusing on home. So home, mother, real estate, all of these things could be very lucrative for you guys next year. You could also become a mother to some extent or work on a business that has to do with family, real estate, property matters, that sort of thing. I see you guys getting much more serious about your foundation, okay, and family. So these things will be quite a blessing for you Virgos next year. And congratulations on this side of things for those of you who are going to get engaged and married, move in together, buy your first home, hell, your second home, your number of whatever home. So there's that. Now let's look at what you need to avoid doing too much of. This is going to be, well, Virgo, this will be a confusing 2022. You may have so much at your disposal. You have to be careful not to want to have it all because you will get duped. You're going to get duped. If you're single and you're getting to know someone, do be careful. And I feel like you almost kind of can't because you may meet someone and feel like, oh, this is perfect. This is meant to be. I'm blessed. I've met my soulmate. It's the love of my life. And as time goes on, you start to realize that this person is a fraud. They're a fraud. Okay. They are a fraud. So do be careful and try as much as you can to be discerning of others because, and not to want it all in one time because you're going to get duped. And try to possibly get advice. All the Virgos I know that they're good at, asking people. So get advice from other people who may not be so starry-eyed and confused about things. Emotionally, you may find yourself overwhelmed emotionally and not being able to discern right from wrong when you're dealing with anyone. Everything seems a little bit glossed over and a little bit foggy and hazy, right? And illusionary. So be careful with that because I feel if you're so convinced and you really want it and you feel like, oh yeah, I can get all of this, you're going to be disappointed. It's going to work against you. So do be careful with that and try to be discerning. And if all that fails, try to lean on somebody else that doesn't have your same chart and may be more discerning than you are to give you some clarity. So that's what I have for Virgos. Now let's look at Libra. Okay, so Libra, I feel for you guys, you will find yourself possibly meeting a divine counterpart. Okay, you'll be more pleasant, more patient, and there's a soulmate that you may find a connection with for some of you. I see you guys kind of becoming more evolved spiritually. You could become more spiritual next year. I can imagine a lot of people probably will. But do be careful and make sure that you're not aligning yourself with cults because I think that that'll be more prominent next year as well. But overall, spiritually, you'll be in a heightened state and you will meet people and have connections with people, if not everyone, a particular person that you will feel like this relationship is otherworldly. I can't put it into words. I can't formulate a sentence and describe really why this is the way it is. And for some of you, this is a very toxic connection with someone that you're trying to work things out with again next year. And next year, it'll seem like it's really meant to be. It'll seem like, you know what? I know it doesn't make sense, but we just love each other and all the things. Don't worry. Pisces is going to bust your bubble really soon. So if any of you are rekindling and reworking a very toxic relationship that is sex-based, and I don't even want to say what I'm thinking of how far all of this goes, but to be careful because you're going to get a dose of reality down the line. But spiritual enlightenment and meeting people who are very healthy for you and coming together, and this is collaborating with people and trying new things out. You will find that next year will be quite the blessing in those areas. Now let's look at what you need to avoid doing too much of. Well, Libra, for some of you, you need to avoid I wouldn't say avoid all fire signs. I would say that you just need to avoid doing too much of your desires, right? Try to keep your feet on solid ground. I'm not surprised I'm saying this to a lot of signs because we know that Pisces is not the most grounded sign, and Pisces don't get offended. Everybody has their thing. So it's not the most grounded sign. So try to keep your feet on the ground and try not to feel like you need to go after and get everything. Also, try to control your inner desires. You may overspend, do business with people that later it turns out to be like, this is a fluke and I'm losing money. Try not to just sleep with people because they're so sexy. Just try to pace yourself because your desires are going to be really strong, and you're going to crave a lot of things, and you're going to get it, and people are going to be there to meet you halfway with your desires, and it's going to feel perfect. That's the thing. It'll feel perfect. And you'll ignore the signs because it feels so good. So try to discipline your cravings and your desires and just jumping into things with people to try it out, especially when it has to do with your emotional state, your physical health, and your money. Okay? So that's what I have for Libra. Now let's look at Scorpio. Okay, so Scorpio. You guys, again, like I said to Libra, all the things that I said to Libra, that, as well as for some of you, you'll be meeting people. If you leave one situation, I see some of you Scorpios leaving a past behind, leaving someone behind. You may rekindle things with that person, but others of you, you'll kind of almost feel like you shed your skin like a snake, and now you feel like you're reborn. And next year, you're going to find yourself going out, having a lot of fun. And as you're going out new places, I see some of you Scorpios going out and venturing out alone and meeting so many people, connecting with people, having a great time with people. You too will meet soul connected people and be in a great alignment, and you will know how to just have fun and take it easy and enjoy yourself next year. And that will be a blessing for you guys, especially if you have not been having fun for a long time. I also feel like if there's been any issues with a child or children, things will start to work in your favor in that area as well. So if you want more details about this particular energy and how it can benefit you, Scorpios, go back to that Libra reading just now and just look at the first portion of the Temperance card because I go into more detail there. But now let's look at what you need to avoid doing too much of in 2022. Well, Scorpio, next year, love can come. It's, some of you who are single, you just get out of one thing, and you guys probably won't believe me. It's okay, it doesn't matter. But I said this because I was thinking about the transits coming up next year, and I was like, you know what? Scorpios is going to lose someone, but they are going to get another person almost immediately. And I feel like some of you are going to do that. And this may be to pace yourself in a love connection that seems otherworldly. You are going to feel like someone or even family. And for some of you, I feel this will be true, that you'll meet someone familiar or new, and things will change for the better in a way that you just can't believe. Like, I cannot believe that I would have never thought I would meet this person. I would have never thought I would speak to them again. I would never thought, because the level of love, connection, peace, forgiveness, devotion, commitment is going to feel otherworldly. Hang on to your seatbelts. You do know that Jupiter and Neptune is going to be in your 5th house of new love, children, and all those things, right? So I'm not surprised. I would just say be very conscious and try not to do too much too soon. Pace yourself. You guys are known to do that, but I tell you, we all know how Scorpios do, right? At least I do. So I do know how deep, when that love gets real deep, when I tell you Scorpios fall down that dark, damn well, and you're like, how did you get down there? And Scorpio's like, help me. And people are like, I'm not going down there. So you guys fall pretty hard. Pace yourself. Take your time, Scorpio, because things may not be what it seems, okay? So just enjoy yourself. You're going to have so much fun next year, so much love. And it's not for all of you guys because everybody's going to have their ups and their downs. But this will prove very beneficial for some of you Scorpios. Just pace yourself. No matter how unbelievable it all seems, take your time. So that's what I have for Scorpios. Now let's look at Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, Jupiter in Pisces, the blessing might be a person. I get next year is definitely going to be that kind of year that you need to kind of keep your head down and your nose clean. This is going to be a rocky road, I have to say. There's going to be some point in time where if any of you experience Jupiter transiting your sign and feeling like things got out of control and it wasn't good and, things happened that I didn't expect and it wasn't all of, rainbows and butterflies, you may experience that with Jupiter in Pisces where kind of things literally get turned upside down and it kind of gets out of control, and you may get triggered by fears and stresses and worries, which will eventually subside because something is kind of coming to a head. It's almost like a balloon is going to pop and burst, and everything is going to kind of come to a head, come up and come out. And what is left, and what in fact will be a blessing to some of you, will be a new relationship with someone, a blessing of a new business. Now, whatever this partnership will be, it will be relative to all of you. It could be a love relationship, a business partnership, reconnecting in a way that you didn't think was possible. I do see that. But again, and this may come after, or it will come after the storm with a particular person. And this could be a completely new person, but could also speak to an existing situation that kind of turns in ways that you didn't expect that it would. But I have to tell you, Jupiter in Pisces next year for you Sagittarius is with it squaring, squaring your Neptune, and it being in Jupiter, it's going to kind of turn you all over the place, Sagittarius. But the blessing out of it all will kind of allow you to finally leave some things in the past, because all of it is finally going to come to a head. And what you're left with looks like a person that you're going to build with. And it may be this King of Swords. And that, for you Sagittarius men out there, you may be someone's blessing. This could even be a business partnership for you men. This could be even a woman that has more of a masculine energy. But you being more discerning, controlling your emotions, and I have to tell you of all, control your mental state, is going to be a blessing for you, because in the end, you'll see that it was all worth it, albeit stressful. It is going to be stressful. Now let's look at what you need to avoid doing too much of. Well, Sagittarius, well, you see it. It may be for some of you, and you will go through a period of feeling very fearful, feeling like you're being controlled by someone, like mind controlled or emotionally controlled by someone. So do be careful with that, but also be careful with just having idle sex with people, thinking that sex equals love, because you are going to be quite disappointed. I feel like giving into your devices, your devices, I don't know what kind of devices you're using, but vices, devices and vices. Be careful, because I feel like anything is possible. I mean, anything can go wrong here, if you know what I mean. So be careful and try not to do too much next year, because it will go completely against you. I'm saying, and I'm taking a little bit more time with Sagittarius, because out of all the signs, Sagittarius has a little bit deeper. Then you guys, your reading is not coming across to me rainbows, butterflies, and gumdrops. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for you. So whatever you do and whatever stresses you're faced with next year, try as much as you can, get affirmations, whatever you do, be very spiritually. You need to have your faith. You need to have something deep rooted. So when all of this comes to you, your mind is still strong, because if not, you're going to resort to tactics that can go against you and even take you up off of here. So be careful, Sagittarius. Do be careful in whatever you do. Try to control yourself as much as possible. So that's what I have for Sagittarius. Now let's look at Capricorn. Well, Capricorn. Well, it looks like in Jupiter and Pisces next year, you're going to be blessed by mother, pregnancy, a new home for some of you. Definitely business may be expanding, and overall you feeling very happy and fortunate, and feeling like you're at the pinnacle stage of your life. If not you, then someone very close to you. You may start feeling like all the pieces are coming together, and do not even think that you will never be with that person. Like, I'll never get back with my baby mother. I'll never get back with my ex-wife. I'll never be able to find the perfect woman, the ideal person, my divine counterpart, because you will. You may even be, as a Capricorn female, the ultimate person to someone. And I do see happiness and joy coming your way and feeling ultimately successful and some type of family connectivity with others. This doesn't have to be your relatives, your actual blood family, but feeling like you have your tribe, your people, your love group you will start to establish next year. And I do feel like it all comes from this feminine energy here, okay? So again, feeling like you kind of have everything you need and everyone that you desire to have around you. And I do see good moments with people that you truly love and care about. Now let's look at something that you need to avoid doing too much of. How is that, Capricorn? How is that? Does that make sense? Well, I'll tell you this. This reads to me that just as much as you feel comfortable, confident, that everything is going right, do not rest in that. Do not lean on that only, which I don't know Capricorns to do. But you may find, again, people are going to be doing things that they don't normally do when Jupiter and Pisces and Neptune come into play. So you'll find yourself possibly leaning in. Don't just trust that, oh, I have money and it'll never go anywhere. I have an abundance and it'll never go anywhere. Definitely pace yourself. Try not to overspend. Also, do not look at people as if they're gods and goddesses and that they're above everything, because things are going to fall out of, you're going to fall out of favor with someone, or them you, as the time goes on. Someone may you may meet someone or know someone or have someone in your life, and you put them on a pedestal. But if you do not keep things within reason with this person, it's going to get out of control, because this person is going to turn on you. Things may not be going your way. That you may not see them the way that you thought initially. You'll start seeing them for who they truly are. And I have to tell you, some of you are dealing with, what do they call it? What is it? A wolf in sheep's clothing. So do be careful. And don't think that your money is endless and you'll never have to worry when it comes to money. And some of you may not have to, but I would just say don't put all your eggs in one basket, in anyone's one basket, because you're going to get disappointed. And do be conscious about your money, and also be very practical in a relationship with a person, because even though they may come across as the perfect being and everything that you've hoped for, as time goes on, you'll start to really see who you're dealing with. So that's what I have for Capricorn. Now let's look at Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, it's official. Some of you next year probably is going to meet or develop and grow a relationship with a particular person. You're falling in love. You're falling in love, or someone's going to fall in love with you. And it's a blessing, because this may be something that is going to last for quite a long time. And this is the type of thing where it looks like you're going to get along with their family or them you. And again, you have a very solid foundation. You have your eye on someone or them you. And if you have someone right now, things are going to grow nicely next year. And it's almost like if you've fallen out of love or out of like with your person, you guys will make up for that next year. I see kind of a lot of love and affection. And for some of you, you will be the go-to person where people are coming to you for counsel and advice and understanding and clarity. So if you do business in that area, you will see an uptick in your salary. I also see some of you Aquarius going into the field of counseling, helping others, being some type of intuitive counselor in some way, and that's also going to be lucrative for you guys. But overall, you're going to find something that is close to your heart, and that will be something that may stay around for quite some time. It looks really good for you guys when it comes to that Jupiter and Pisces transit. You may be dealing with a literal water sign, which is a Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer female, or very effeminate man. And this person, you may find that you do business well with. They come into your life and they are a blessing. And for some of you, you may find Pisces being very much of a blessing to you, right? And so together you will make quite a lot of money. And this may be something, again, that lasts a very long time. So that looks really good. But now let's see what you may need to avoid doing too much of. Okay, well, when I look at this, I really feel like this is saying that you need to take your successes, the attention that you get in stride. It looks like next year will be a better year for you, or a pretty good year. And again, this is not a full yearly. This is just one energy that you may notice next year, and it's not a personal; it's a general. But I feel like you need to kind of just be a bit humble, which Aquariuses usually are. Do not try to seek attention everywhere, because you're going to find it, and not all of it is going to be worth your time. And also see, be very practical, kind of like I was telling Leos. Be very practical and take your time. Some of you will attract a lot of fire signs. The problem with that is that you may rush in and fall for them pretty heavily, and because they are not taking their time, things can kind of get out of hand quite quickly. So I would say take your time, even if people around you aren't. Just be patient, take your time, be humble, and do not answer the call from everyone, because you will get a lot of attention from people, and you will feel like, things are really falling in your lap. You have Jupiter in your second house with Neptune and Jupiter. So yeah, you may get some dreams come true next year, like your finances increases in ways that you just would never imagine, that sort of thing. You may meet a love that you never thought, that sort of thing. But I would say just take your time, be humble, and take it as it comes, bit by bit, step by step, so that this blessing stays around for a long time. So that's what I have for Aquarius. Now let's look at, finally, Pisces. Pisces, it's all about you. It's all about you, Pisces, next year. And you better enjoy it. You guys need to be doing something brand new. You need to bring something to fruition. Now, you need to get out there and look at your favorite astrologer and find out when will be the best time to start something new, to implement something that's going to be in your favor, because this now can last for quite a long time. And so as we see, your blessing is going to be, for some of you, a literal Aries, right? A father figure may be a blessing to you, but I also see weddings, proposals, something to celebrate. So there may be some of you kind of stepping up in your business, taking off, you conquering something that you've probably tried to accomplish for so many years, and now you're a boss, right? You're a boss woman, you're a boss man. No one can tell you anything differently, and you just may feel like you are the most stable and successful than you've been in a very long time, if ever. So you will feel like you are the ultimate individual right now. You will probably meet and be sent someone who is a divine counterpart to you. And they may start off kind of slow, like friends and going out, having a good time, but this can go somewhere. And for some of you who are already involved, you find yourself closing a deal and stepping things up to the next level. I also see going out, having a good time, meeting new friends, and just celebrating. If you've been cooped up or been feeling controlled by someone, that it kind of goes out the window. And I do feel like you start to socialize and spend more time with people that you enjoy, and do that. It will be a good time to get those types of things done. You guys know what I mean. Be a good time to get out there and have fun with people, because it will be big. Concerts are going to be big. Anything with artists and music and all that stuff is going to be big next year. And I feel like you guys are going to get out and be a part of all that. So now let's look at what you need to avoid doing too much of. Well, Pisces. Well, this looks like to me that you need to scale back and not give too much. And we know that you are a very charitable sign. 12th house, which is your ruling house, rules charity. So you guys are very giving, extremely selfless. We know those things. But this is going to come back to bite you if you do a little too much of it. You need to be very conscious about your boundaries, which might almost feel impossible with this Jupiter transiting you. But you need to provide boundaries around you and the people that matter to you, because I do feel like things can get out of hand and you will look back and feel like you've given and who has given to you. You almost may feel like a trick or a mark, because you may discover that someone is trying to take advantage of you, and in fact that they've taken advantage of you. So that means scale back, be discerning. Does this person deserve your efforts? Do they deserve your charity? Do they deserve your generosity? Those are the questions that you need to ask, and give, but don't give blindly, because again, it's going to come back to haunt you, because when you need, no one is going to be around. Also, and this is a major point, do be careful with mixing friends with lovers. Yeah. Be careful with having your mate around the opposite sex. Your friends, hell, it could even be family member, but I'll just say friends or familiar people. Be careful, because I do see you will get the shock of your life. Now, I'm not trying to scare anyone, but this is just to give you some discernment, right? And so you want to be careful about people that you know around your mate, because you may look around and realize and catch someone doing things that they should not do. I'm telling you now, so do be careful with that. Otherwise, Pisces, enjoy your time. This is your time to shine. A lot of eyes are going to be on you and Tauruses next year. So it's all about the two of you, and do enjoy your time next year. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that this has been helpful. Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this reading. This is just to give you an insight. Possibly by the time we get into next year, some of you will forget about this reading and what was said. Some of you won't, because you're looking for love. And a lot of people probably are going to get feel like they're in soulmate connections with people. So enjoy this energy in this time. It is going to be, I feel, a time to remember. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that this has been helpful. Check me back on the next one. Take care, guys.